The Angels Around Us by Barrie Mahoney. Oh, she's an angel. Or, thank you, you're an angel. Are comments that I sometimes hear. They often follow an act of kindness or generosity. Maybe such comments are more common in the older generation nowadays, but I'm used to hearing them. It's always a comment that startles me for a moment, and I wonder. I believe in angels. I always have done. Admittedly, my understanding of them has grown and developed over the years with the experiences of life. To put it simply, I believe that angels are the physical embodiment of the Spirit that guides, supports, encourages, and challenges us in our daily lives. The Spirit may manifest itself through people, or indeed animals that we're close to, such as our dog or our cat. My mother believed in angels too. She had experienced a troubling incident when she was about 14 years old, whilst playing in a field in the village with her friend Laura and younger sister Muriel. She always believed that the angel had saved them, and a view that was firmly supported by her friend and sister when questioned by my grandparents. Many years later, when I was 9 years old, during an eventful Sunday school outing to Skegness, I was inadvertently abandoned and wasn't noticed as missing until the end of the day. I still remember my father being very angry over the incident and the apparent negligence of my Sunday school teachers, but with my mother calmly replying, "Barry's fine. The angels would have looked after him." Mother's faith was no nonsense and black and white, as was her later career in nursing. She is no pushover and could spot an untruth before I even opened my mouth. As I was growing up, she often referred to angels that surround us in our everyday lives, yet only rarely referred to the incident that she had shared with her friend and her sister. My father discouraged her from talking about it, since he thought it made my mother sound foolish. Later in her life, I questioned her many times about what she'd seen, and the answer was always the same, with a crystal clear memory. "They are all around us," she would say. "Just keep an open mind, and you will see." Later, as a newly qualified teacher, I remember trying to teach the Annunciation to my class of 9-year-olds. The subject content for this age group troubled me greatly, and I felt neither qualified nor competent to deal with it. Despite this, as I was working in a church school, I had to give it a go. Later, I felt that the lesson had gone better than expected. My pupils seemed vaguely interested, and I didn't have any of the anticipated difficult questions about parenthood. I set them to work, predictably to write about the story and to add a picture. Michelle didn't find writing easy, and I remember seeing her chewing the end of her pencil in deep thought before she committed her well-chewed pencil to a fresh page of our religious education book. It took her some time to complete, followed by drawing a picture. When she'd finished, she proudly presented her work to me as I sat at my desk. "Mary and the Fairy," proclaimed the title, followed by 2 brief sentences describing the visitation to Mary by the fairy. Michelle's accompanying picture of the angel was very similar to a fairy that had recently been placed on the school Christmas tree, together with a very plump Mary who had a huge blob around her middle. Michelle beamed and was clearly very proud of her work. I gave her a gold star. Clearly, I hadn't done a very good job in explaining the difference between angels and fairies, but I was content that Michelle had realized that Mary's visitor was someone special. Maybe angels and fairies are the same. Who was I to say? As I progress through life, I've experienced support that I cannot always explain. I've met people who briefly enter my life with words of wisdom, suggestions, encouragement, and support, and often using words that don't appear to be their own. Sometimes it is someone that I know that is offering support, but often it is a stranger who enters my life briefly, and I never see them again. Although angels are often popular in films, books, and songs, they are rarely taken seriously in real life. I sometimes watch popular films that includes an angel, who's usually someone that you would least expect to represent the heavenly host. I often find it hard to dismiss these as fiction, since I suspect there is some truth behind the representation. I believe that angels are with us always, supporting and helping us every day of our lives. The question is whether "you are an angel" comment refers to someone who is particularly kind or has done a good deed, or is really an angel. My guess is it doesn't matter. You have been listening to The Angels Around Us by Barrie Mahoney. If you'd like to find out more about me and my books, please go to my website www.barriemahoney.com, and thank you for listening.